Hello everybody, it's me Charlotte. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are having a fantastic day so far today. Today's video we are talking about Fair Isle knitting. I'm going to be teaching you guys the basics of Fair Isle knitting. So I'm going to be teaching you guys how to hold your yarn so it doesn't become tangled, because that can be a problem. Trust me, I know. I'm going to teach you guys how to carry your floats, how to catch your floats, and how to straighten out your knitting when you're all finished, because sometimes these stitches can look a little bunchy. So I'll show you my little trick on what I do to fix it. And real quick, this is a hat that I had recently finished. It is on Ravelry if you're interested in checking that out. There'll be a link in the description below. But this is a very basic Fair Isle hat. It's knit in the round, only 2 colors, and the floats aren't so long that you have to catch them. So it kind of makes it easy. These are the floats. This is what I'm talking about when I say floats. These here are just where you float the yarn in the back when you're not using that particular color. So this is what the hat looks like from inside out. See the little colors? Yeah. So you just float your yarn in the back when you're not using that color, and I'm going to teach you guys how to do that so it's nice and neat. And also, here's a little tip I learned a long time ago. This is a fur pom-pom. Actually, I got this at the dollar store. Believe it or not, it was only $1. And it has one of those elastic things, and all I did was take this toggle. I don't know what the actual name of these are. I call them toggles. I don't know what they're actually called. And all you do is you just toggle it on there and hold it on there like that. So when you want to take it off, you just undo the toggle, pull off the pom-pom, and you can put it on another hat if you want. So, and you don't feel that on your head. So I thought that was like kind of a neat little idea. So if you guys want to use that tip, feel free. Okay, back to Fair Isle knitting. Real quick though, I have to say thank you to everyone who has subscribed to my channel, because it means so much to me. I want to remind you that if you have not yet subscribed, please do so now. Click the bell icon. You'll be notified when I upload new videos. And there are links in the description below. You can check those out. And remember that all the hoodies in the merch store right now are 10% off using coupon code YARNSEASON at checkout. So keep that in mind. All right, back to Fair Isle knitting, because that's what we're here for. We're going to start off with just introducing a new color and how to do that. So what I've done is I've started a hat right here. Nothing special. There's no pattern that I'm following. I'm just going to be showing you guys some tips and tricks on Fair Isle knitting. Okay, so I have my red main color. Then I'm going to pull out my contrasting color, and in this case it is white because it was handy and available next to me. So I have my white, and all I'm going to do is just like introducing a color when you're knitting anything else. All I do is fold the yarn, pick up my knitting, take my needle. I'll bring you guys in close so you can see what I'm doing. Put my needle in like I'm going to knit that next stitch. Put my new color on. Bring that new color through. Now it's going to be a little loose. It always is at first, but it'll tighten up. Don't worry about it. And then I'm going to just knit a few stitches with my new color. And usually with a Fair Isle pattern, you'll have a graph you can follow, or there's a pattern that you can read. I know with my hat pattern that I just put on Ravelry, there is both a graph for the color work, and each row is written out round by round. So you kind of have both. Okay, so I've knit 4 with my white, or my contrasting color, and now I want to put red back on. But how do I hold my yarn so it doesn't get tangled? This is what I do. I take my contrasting color and I put it back here, and my main color is here. Now this is only going to work if you're an English knitter and you hold your yarn the way I do and you flick. So I know there are so many different ways of holding your yarn and knitting, and if you're an English knitter and you flick, this might help you out. If not, you're gonna have to do what I did and just experiment with a bunch of different ways of holding your yarn, but I found this way works the best for me. So what I do is I take both strands, making sure that they're not tangled, they're not twisted. I take them both in my hand like this. I put my finger underneath the red, and I bring my thumb up underneath the white like that. So I'm like this. Now it's time to knit a red. So what you want to do is, so it doesn't get bunchy, you want to make sure that these white ones, or your contrasting color, the stitches are spaced out and not too bunched together. And then you just want to bring the red around, knit, pull through, and it'll say usually, you know, knit a couple, whatever, and then you have that. Now it's time to go back to white. So I've only knit 2, and you only want to catch a float when it's longer than, when it's 5 stitches or longer. So this was only 4. We don't have to worry about catching a float. Same with my hat pattern. There are no catching floats required. You can just knit and carry your floats as normal. So we're going to go back to the white. I'm going to make sure these stitches here are kind of spaced out. You know, there's enough room. And then I carry my white around and I flick it and I bring it up. Now we'll knit a few with the white. And again, you can see it's still kind of awkward for me, but it's the fastest way that I have found to hold 2 yarns and knit with. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the red. Again, insert. Make sure these stitches are spaced out, and don't be afraid to just pull a little yarn. You know, make sure there's a nice run there with your red yarn. And there. And then we'll knit a few with our red. And then back to our white. Again, making sure these are spaced. And that's how you carry your floats nicely. The secret to carrying your floats so that these stitches don't get bunched is just to make sure that they're spaced out and that you don't pull too much on your working yarn, and you just kind of like let it go around and you just, you know, knit with it nicely. You don't want too tight of a bunch. I'll show you what happens if you use too tight of a bunch. Right here, I have my 2. I'm going to squish them together and I'm going to knit. See how they're kind of squished? And you hold your yarn tight. That you don't want to do that, because now these stitches, believe it or not, the run in the back, the float in the back, here, I'll bring you guys in close. The float in the back is very, very tight. Can you see that? It's very tight. See how this is loose and it has like some give to it? That's what you're looking for. You don't want your floats to be too tight, because then it'll bunch up your stitches and it'll just cause problems later. But we've all done it. I've done it. That's why I learned how to kind of fix it at the end. But I'll show you guys what I mean at the end. Now we're going to do where we have to catch a float. And basically, I'm just going to go ahead. It's usually, in my rule book, it's 5 stitches or longer. So if we have a run here of more than 5 stitches, I'll do 5 stitches. That's kind of a lot to like bring this over. I mean, you can make sure it's very stretched out. Make sure your stitches are very stretched out and very far apart from one another. But you can also catch a float. And to catch a float, all you want to do is you want to wrap your yarn, make a twist, and then you're just going to continue running with your red, and then you want to twist it back the other way. So we've twisted it this way. Now we want to get our yarn back straight out so we're not twisted again, and we're going to untwist it, and then we can carry on. So that way, what we did here in the back is, I'll show you, we caught our float is what you want to say. You twist your yarn, you knit, and then you untwist it to straighten out your yarn so it doesn't get tangled. But here, I'll bring you guys in close so you can see how we caught our yarn right here. This is called catching a float, and here was our white yarn, and we wanted to catch it because we didn't want it to be too long of a run. So here's our long run, and we caught it right there, so it's not going to be too long of a strand of yarn in the back. So that's how you catch your floats. I'll show you guys one more time what I mean by that. Okay, so we'll just continue knitting with the white. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay, we have 5 stitches of white here. What I want to do is I just want to twist my yarn, bring it back into position where I had it. And again, guys, I might not be doing this the way everyone else recommends to do it, but it works for me, so that's why I do it this way. And then I caught it, I twisted my yarn, I'm gonna knit a couple stitches or however many it says, and then all I'm gonna do is untwist my yarn. So I'm set back up to where my main color is in the front, my contrasting colors in the back, and I have no tangles in my yarn. And then you can just continue to knit as called for. And again, here is where we caught the float in the back, so we didn't have a long run of yarn in the back to catch on things. So that is how you catch floats. That's how you float your yarn. That's how you hold your yarn. This video is not going to be very long, but I am going to show you now how, in case your tension wasn't just right and your stitches are kind of bunchy, I'm going to show you guys how I fix that. Now again, not saying that this is the right way to do it, but it's helped me and it's how I do it. So I go ahead and I get my little case out. This is my Chiagu needles. I absolutely love them. They are my absolute favorite. I knit everything on them that I possibly can, and I keep things stuffed in here that shouldn't be in here, but it works, whatever. Okay, take out a darning needle. And this is if you want to fix your stitches. I'm gonna bring you guys in close so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, for instance, right here, you can tell my stitches are kind of tight right there. So all I'm going to do is take my darning needle, I'm gonna go up underneath that stitch and just pull it up a little bit where I think it looked too tight. And now it doesn't look tight anymore. Did you guys see that? Let's see if we can find another one on here. I kind of went through this hat already, but I'm sure there'll be more right here. Okay, here's a good one. This white one right here is buried. You can barely see it. You're just gonna take your darning needle, you're gonna go up underneath that stitch, give it a little tug, and if you gave enough room in your floats, it doesn't have to be a lot of room. If you gave enough, you can bring it right back to the surface and straighten out your stitches. And you can go through your project like that when you're finished with it, and you'll see the little, how sometimes the stitches are bunched together and a little tight, maybe a little loose. You can pull on the stitches with your little darning needle and it'll come out looking better. So that is what I do. Again, I just find a stitch that looks a little too tight, go up underneath it, give it a little wiggle, straighten it out, and it looks fine. And you just go through your project like that. And that's how I do it. Again, this pattern is, I would say, if you know how to knit in the round and you know how to knit a hat, you can knit this. Again, I have a graph of all the color work. It tells you when to switch color and how to switch color. And I mean, every row is written out, every round is written out, row by row, round by round. I don't know why I keep saying rows. If you're interested in checking that pattern out, again, the link will be in the description below. But I just wanted to show you guys that Fair Isle isn't really that hard. It's more of just awkward holding your yarn and getting everything organized so it doesn't get a tangled mess. And you can always fix it at the end, like I just showed you. So that was my video for today, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, what you would like to see. I love reading your guys' comments, and my videos don't get very many, and I really do enjoy reading comments. So if you want to leave me a comment, please do. Again, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so now. Don't forget to click the bell icon. You'll be notified when I upload new videos. And the links are in the description below. You can check out this pattern. You can check out my Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook. Join my private Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram. Check out the merch store. All hoodies are 10% off. Remember, using coupon code YARNSEASON at checkout. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Until next time, I hope you all have a super wonderful, fabulous day. Happy knitting. Happy crocheting. Bye.